Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wellington Burns, and I'm joined by a special guest for another Life Lessons episode, Joe Pizzolato. He's been a pastime guest before, a guitarist, the best guitarist besides my dad that I know how to say that, the best guitarist that I know besides my dad. Thanks so much for being back on, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, bro. Sorry, the back and forth, but we made it happen.
Oh yeah, finally made it happen. Absolutely. And for this Life Lessons episode, we're going to get to just an exclusive interview and questions with Joe. But to start off, man, like how early did you know you wanted to be a guitarist? Like when did you kind of know from the jump, or like what age did you kind of have like that interest and intrigue in it?
Mm. Uh, Man, I didn't really have an interest in it when I was a kid.
Oh,
I I do have this very vivid memory of a CD that my brother had burnt for me. It had three songs on it. Um, it had what was it? Freebird, Purple Haze, and some Kanye West song. I don't know. But man, I would listen to Purple Haze over and over and over on the school bus.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, that would just be cool to play guitar, but I'll never do that. So that was like I was like 12 or 13. So I had in my mind I was never gonna do it. But
Mhm.
fast forwarding, it wasn't until like 17 I got my first electric guitar. Um, that I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had an acoustic floating around the family, but I was just like, man, I was like, I don't want to play acoustic, bro.
I don't
I'm
know. Sound.
I'm trying to get loud, man. You
Yeah.
know. So that was
Absolutely.
17 was about, I'd say, when that was like, all right, this seems pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I assumed that it was such an early age, but sometimes like with these artists, it doesn't start at that early because it's like you think about Jay-Z, his first album was at 26. It was at 26. Like you know what I mean? It
Yeah, dude.
wasn't even one of those things where it's just like he started like super young. Sometimes you start even later in life.
Man, I mean, like Bill Withers not having a record till he's 36,
Yeah.
my or in his 30s somewhere. Don't quote me on that number. Favorite guitar players, Wes Montgomery, not getting started till they're late in the game. Yeah, man. I mean, music was always around. My dad used to be a DJ back in the day, turned chef. So like it's always music in the kitchen. My mom was a ballerina. Um, so like there's that, those different styles of music, of course, between my brother and my sister as well. So I was getting every genre from,
Yeah.
you
That's a good
know,
mix. That's a really good mix though.
yeah, dad was, Rat Pack, Louis Prima, D Martin, Frank, all that. And then, Chuck Berry and all this. And then my mom was Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. And my brother
Yeah.
was metal and hip hop. And then my sister was like, jam band, like Dave Matthews and Third Eye Blind. So it was just getting it from every angle. So
See,
it was fun.
that's why me and Joe get along so well because it's like we like so much different music. Like when people ask me like, "What's the specific genre you like?" I'm like, I like a lot of genres,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
Like even for
yeah.
me, I'm from the South, born in the South, but I like East Coast rap better because I'm more of a
Yeah.
lyrical. I just like that's what I grew up on listening to lyricism and rap. Like Southern rap is great, but
Right.
I wanted to hear bars. Like I wanted to hear
Yeah.
bars, and I just didn't get that. You know.
Yeah,
So
right,
it's just
right.
like I mean, it's great, but it's just like East Coast is like to me, it's where it's at.
Yeah, man. Well, that's funny you mentioned that because like my brother and my sister would convene on certain genres. Of course, hip hop and rap, but I mean, they both be listening to Outkast.
Yeah.
So it's like, like I was,
Emerging.
so I was listening to, just coming to a point on that. So yeah, it was always fun to just hear. Um, like my first record I ever listened to front to back was Rage Against the Machine's Renegades album, and that was just a bunch of covers. So
So
they're
good,
doing,
yeah.
like versions of Maggie's Farm and Pistol Grip Pump, and I'm just like, bro, this is insane.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then my dad busts in. I remember he was like, stop listening to that crap, and just like throws a Chuck Berry CD at me. I'm just like, cool, like this is cool too. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like music today, people like judge you if like they're like, "Oh, so you like that too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like you can like other things." It's like I like even though I'm a bigger Drake fan, I love Kendrick's music too. I can like both. I don't have to just like one artist, and I can acknowledge, yo, this is dope. I mean, I have my preferred genre, but this is dope too. like both things can be dope, and like you don't have to like just
Yeah.
cast out one. So yeah,
Absolutely. I mean,
definitely.
I one thing that's always made me laugh is when people are like, "Oh, I love every type of music." I'm like, "Do you though?" Like, do you?
Do you really? Do you really?
Because I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but man, I listen to anything. I mean, I love opera. I listen to opera. I listen to any, whether it's world music, whether it's something that was made down the street, man. It's always fun to put ears on everything and at least be able to say, "Hey, I don't like it." But then
Yeah,
when somebody's
and
like,
it's
"I
okay
listen
to
to
say
everything," and they're like, "Oh, I'm like, "Well, I listen to country. I listen to this." I'm like, "Oh, so you know this country artist?" They're like, "Well, no, I just know
that.
this
Exactly.
mainstream." When I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go
And
there."
that's the thing. Even with it's so funny. I've started listening. I was listening to Johnny Cash's live at Folsom Prison, and
Yep.
I was like, oh my goodness, like because I felt so bad in my younger years. I didn't even give country a chance. But when you really listen to it, it's amazing lyricism. Like the lyrics are great. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it's just
yeah.
like it's simplistic, but it's just like it's just quality music. You know what I mean? And it's like when you
Mhm.
listen to it, it's like man, like these are some amazing song, like legendary songwriters. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
guys who
man.
like
Yeah.
were just phenomenal.
Oh man, the list really gets deep with country artists, and more specifically, um, songwriters, country songwriters. I
Yes,
mean, dude, like I went back the other day. I woke up. It was so fun. I'll wake up, man. I'll have a certain song in my head,
same.
and man, a few days ago, I had what was it? Faith Hill's "This Kiss" on my mind. I was like, bro, let me go back and listen to it. And it's like, that is a beautiful song. Or then going back and listening to something like Johnny Paycheck and George Jones. So it's like, yeah, that's
The
something
list is
about
deep.
country. Yeah,
Yeah, the
man.
list is
It's
very
just
deep.
I love it.
Definitely. And now getting to I kind of wanted to get to next like because I feel like every artist, every like creative musician, there's a point where it goes from an interest to like a full-time passion. You know what I mean? Something like, yo, this is something I'm gonna do full time. Like for you, like was there a certain when was that shift about like, oh, like I like doing this or like, yo, I want to do this like for a living, like full time.
Yeah. That transition really didn't happen for me until I guess if I could loosely say probably like 2017, 2018.
Mm,
I was living in Florida and I loved playing guitar and I was just trying to like learn a bunch of stuff, but wasn't really right around the right people.
mm,
And then once I left and moved over to Alabama, um, man, it wasn't really till I started getting in church and like really learning how to be a musician. And I was like, you know what, I really want to set intentions and be intentional. So around 2018 is when I was like, all right, I'm going to really focus
mm.
and learn and just, it's like a shut up and listen moment.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
especially when COVID happened, that's when like I took so much time to like rebuild my knowledge.
there's
Didn't
so
have
many COVID
everybody.
stories where people said, "Man,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just reset. I just reset."
yeah.
And
But
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah, it was really that 2017 to like 2019 where I was just like really hunkered down on um, just trying not to let I guess my ego get in the way and just be like, all
Mhm,
right, I don't know anything,
mhm,
and so I really was taken basically just being like, hey, setting objectives, way markers, like I'm gonna get there. I want to play with that artist. I want to do that, or whether it's regionally or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, it all kind of hit a point. Like I said, everybody has their COVID story, but 2020, taking that time and yeah, man, just really just studying a lot. So then when we came out of COVID, um, that's when it was just kind of like boots to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's crazy because I've been talking to like a lot of people like with these interviews I've been doing because I mean this is like the first year where I've done like just the bonus segment life lessons because I was like I want to like obviously do this podcast but I want to talk to people that can also like show the behind the scenes of like why they're good at what they're good at because like a lot of times we see people good and it's like yo what's the backstory like people they want to know like how can I pursue what I want to do, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like if you have a platform I feel like you should use it to just like give people the opportunity to just talk about what they want to talk about and like show like hey, how you can be inspired to do something because a lot of time we're scared to like go after what we want to go after. Because we're like, yo, like you said, the acoustic guitar, I don't want to do that. It's like, nah, like I probably will never do it. But it's like you end up doing what sometimes you're scared to do, but when you like jump out, like it clicks.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything, you know, comes around in an interesting way. Like, and I've had different passions. I mean, I like for real. Like, I was more towards aiming of before I moved out here
Hmm.
to Alabama. I had a decision to make because I love automotive. I love cars. I love mechanics, and I was really on the fence about uh, what I wanted to do. I was like, I was about to just go be a master mechanic and train to be a master mechanic. I mean, I was still playing guitar, like I was still
Yeah.
playing. Like out of high school, I was playing full time, So like I was just playing and playing and playing as much as I could. But I was like at a really split world. Like, man, I really
Yeah.
don't know.
Split
But
decision.
yeah, but I mean again. With that being said, it was just the passion of it all came through and pushed through, and
Mm.
I think it's just if you don't at least step out, it's not moving in fear, but it's like knowing that fear can kind of be your guidance, and then just saying, hey, man, like this is actually breaking a new barrier for me, and flowing with that can lead to some new spaces where it's like reassurance. You're like, it's just so we all need reassurance sometimes, and you get to a point where you're like, wow, this actually was paying off. Wow, this was a great gig. Like
Yeah. It's just so weird. Yeah.
this made me feel like all the time I spent, hunkered down in my room doing this, like it paid off, and,
Yeah.
but I mean, it has to be moments I think that are defined by like what you want, not what everybody else wants.
That's the thing. I didn't even think back to my dad. Like, if he doesn't make the decision to like start the church, New Dimensions, there's no all nations. There's no rights. It's just like that one. Like you think about how one decision can actually affect everything else. You know what I mean? Like just
Yep.
that one decision. Because it's like if that doesn't start, then we don't have what we have now with with my brother leading the church. So it's just like so many different things. It's just like yo,
Yeah.
that just one seminal moment. Because it just your decisions just don't affect you. They affect like what the people that have come after you and your current family and friends too. So it's just like that's what
Mhm.
and decisions at that crossroads, that like that crossing of the Rubicon. Like they say in history, it's so big time.
Yeah, I always think about this one thing, man. You know, doing nothing is still doing something. Like
That's very true.
I mean, bro, it's like I don't know, dude. I mean, even even when I was like when I used to teach a lot, the bare bones of all this concept is like even when I was teaching guitar more than I was now, which I really don't even teach that much anymore because it just it can be a little bit annoying.
Annoyance.
Sorry, sorry. But I would just tell people like, man, 15 minutes is more than nothing. 5 minutes is more than nothing.
Yeah,
Holding the instrument and at least seeing it, it's kind of giving a light to what could be. It's like opening your book or turning on your computer to record, or if you have nothing to say,
yeah,
you're still doing the action. And I think that can open um, at least a vision of what
yeah.
could happen.
Decisions people make like a non-decision is a decision. Like we make decisions every day. You know what I mean? Like
Bro,
it's
if yep, if I decide
yeah.
to sit on the couch, bro, and not do anything, stare at a wall, bro, you're sitting on a couch
And
staring
you're
at a
staring at a
wall.
wall. Like if I don't, I was thinking like, one day I was like I had a break from work and I was like, man, I really need to record an episode today. And I was like, I could chill, wait to go back into work, or I could record an episode. And I was like, I record episodes. Like that's what I'm the captain of this ship and I have to do it. Like I
Mhm.
nobody else will do it for me. I'm like, yo, if I want to be like do this full time, I have to do it the days when I don't feel like doing it.
That
Um
is entrepreneurship, and
literally.
just yeah, bro, like it's disciplinary action.
Yeah, it's discipline. Absolutely. And obviously this next topic it can go a lot of ways, but are there certain artists that kind of like inspire you for just artistry, enjoyment, things like, yo, when you think about them, you're like, man, these are the people that just really just like inspire me in terms of like music making.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think every genre, or I'm not gonna say every genre. I think for like producing,
Mm.
or if it's like, I don't know, if I'm in the mindset of making an instrumental like a beat or something, or playing guitar, there's some layers there, but
Yeah.
um, you know, like for me, I'm always gonna listen to. There's a huge list of guitar players, like really, um, but I mean,
It's infinite.
man, like today, or was it today, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Um, anyways, I always have circulated back to Wes Montgomery, for example, and or Joe Pass. Like those are just
Mhm.
two players that like, I had this thing where sometimes if I like something enough musically, I just won't learn it because I like to keep it just fun and whimsical for my mind to just think
Yeah.
about it and not really touch on it. I mean, it's not all the time, but like I dug back into this Wes Montgomery record that I really love, and it happens again with Joe Pass, and of course
Mhm.
another list of guitar players. But you know, there's bands like the Silvers, man. Like I'll always go back and listen to Silvers and just be blown away by all that music, or of course Quincy, um,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know. But or anything Stevie, but when it comes like to studio world, it's like, or like just hip hop, like man, The Alchemist and Just Blaze and Ninth Wonder and Dilla and all this,
Not the Ninth Wonders. He's so good.
yeah, yeah,
So
bro.
good.
Like, I
So
mean,
good.
really, with guitar and all that, I mean, I wasn't even when I was in high school. I was listening to a bunch of music. I hadn't played
Mhm.
guitar yet, but I was listening to so much stuff. But I was like trying to figure out how to produce and make beats, but I didn't know how. But I'm saying this because people will ask like, well, who are your biggest influences, like learning stuff. I'm like, man, I listen to so much hip hop where I just started like picking apart those records and being like, where did they get this from? Or just sitting there learning that loop
Yeah.
over and over. Um, and
And
so
I think
that
that's the thing. That's the thing with samples. Like a lot of people, a lot of kids will listen to hip hop records and it's like, yo, you don't even know where that sample came from. Like, like that
oh yeah,
it's just it's just so much of it. It's just like, man, hip hop does a lot of R&B samples. Lots.
yeah, like my homie said, Master Ice, man, he's a mentor, he's like an uncle to me. Um, he he's like, man, hip hop didn't invent anything; it just reinvented everything. And it really took music. Um, I think hip hop is one of those genres that took the core of what music is, which is community and sharing and showing people cool stuff, and yeah, just brought it into a new era of what we can do with music.
Push
Sampling.
boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, sampling's been around, but sometimes it does take something extra to push, push something forward. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's ongoing list of inspiration, but it's always fun to, you know, I still have records that I find in my record collection I haven't even listened to yet. I'm like, this is sick. Why not? You know?
It's like on I don't know if you heard the Give Me a Hug song by Drake earlier this year. He sampled Aaron Hall's "I Miss You" at the end. I was like, oh, this is a deep cut
yeah,
R&B track. Like it's like
yeah,
you miss that era of R&B where it's just like, yo, just that desperation. And because like a lot of the R&B artists today are just, it's like play it too cool, and I'm like, that's not really R&B. Like it's just like it's
yeah.
toxicity. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's all toxic
It's just
relationships,
like, okay, we
staying
get
up
it,
late,
And don't get
you
me wrong,
know.
like there's some great, like I think Chris Brown's a great R&B artist, like guys like Leon Thomas. There's some great R&B male artists, but the majority of it is just very like watered down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the concept of R&B has changed so much. I mean, dude, like, man, I'll tell you what, bro. When I got so last year, I got the call to play with Johnny Gill from New
Oh
Edition,
wow,
and man,
wow.
doing some shows with him. I was like, bro, this is R&B. Now, playing with Kelly Price, I mean, that's R&B, like, of course.
Mm.
But like male R&B, like,
Oh yeah. That's different. That's
that
different.
was
That takes the cake. That takes the cake right there.
man, there'd be times on the stage, man, like, you got to keep it cool, but I'd be smiling. I'm like, bro, this is
I'm cheesing. It's like how
man.
do you how like real quick before we go to break for the second half, like how do you keep your cool when you're like around greats like like artists like that where you're like, man, they're up there.
Man, I just you know, you are excited, you are excited to be there and in the situation, to be present in the moment. But man, it's just like, hey, I got here and
You deserve to be here.
yeah, yeah, I mean, bro, I'm nervous before every show, really, or more so like excitement and,
Hmm.
emotions or whatever. But I'm just like, man, I'm just trying to go out here and help them have their best time
Yeah.
and really push the envelope. And again, yeah, those moments like, you know, um, man, I mean, and he's, like that situation. He had like 5 dancers out there, and it's a whole production. We got pyrotechnics, and you know, so I'm just trying to hope that my last line on this part, just lands when the fireworks go off, or I'm gonna
Hmm.
sound stupid. But yeah, just to be there and just
Like
willing to.
who's that white guitarist guy? What's he
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm easy to pick out on stage, man.
what's he doing?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, buddy. But yeah, just trying to make sure that I can, you know, just hunker down and just what I sat in my room and practiced,
Exactly.
helps out. But yeah, definitely moments of just being like, man, this is cool, bro.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.